Believe me, I will be there.
This is Daryl, Too Sweet Coley, 38 and 228 knockouts, former #1 welterweight in the world, on the neutral corner with Jerry Sosa.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
You won't do shit.
Hello, everyone. This is a special edition of the Neutral Corner. Tonight, I won't have my host with me, Too Sweet Daryl Coley. He will be with us tomorrow night as we interview Mikey Goodrow Jr. Tonight is a special show. I have a gentleman that has been running the Golden Glove boxing for 30 years at the legendary, I call it the legendary, historic PAL right here in Fall River, Massachusetts. So my guest tonight, again, has been doing the Golden Gloves, and there's a lot of hard work that goes into organizing the Golden Gloves. I mean, if you've been to the Golden Gloves, the PAL of Fall River, Massachusetts, you know it's a time you got to be there for this. And my guest tonight is no other than the legendary boxing man himself, Paul Morissette. So let's bring Paul on so we can talk. Paul, how are you today?
Great.
Such a pleasure to have you, man.
Pleasure to be here.
You've been doing
modern world now we're in. I'm an old guy.
Welcome to the modern world.
Yes, you're hauling me into it. I have no choice.
Listen, you did great getting on. You did it quicker than some of the guests I have that are used of the modern world, as you call it. You did phenomenal. I give you an A+ across the board coming on tonight.
Hey, it's my first day. Hey,
you did great. It's an honor to have you, Paul. You know, I know you've been doing the Golden Gloves for over 30 years. And at the legendary, I call it the legendary PAL because there's been so many great Golden Glove moments and memories that have happened in that building.
Absolutely. Had some good ones there.
So let's
two Olympians boxed there.
Now I'm thinking of one with Ronnie Como, if I'm not mistaken. Chris McDonald.
No, Chris didn't make the team. He got beaten.
He was
on the Olympic. The top four. They take the top four guys. Chris was in a crazy year. You know, I don't know if you know about it. It was 1980.
Yes,
1980. They canceled it because of the Russians. However, they brought on board the cruiserweight that year, but they didn't box it off. So Chris came in second in the heavyweight, but he could make weight down at the cruiser. And I always wondered, were they going to give it to him? Because he was the guy that should have it. But by canceling, we never found out. Wow. But that would have been something. Chris came very close. He was an outstanding amateur boxer.
Who were the other two you said?
Jason Estrada, Big Six.
Big Six.
And Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade.
Demetrius Andrade, the mysterious guy no one wants to box.
Yeah.
Going to have him on the show. I've been working on that. And I know there are viewers that are going to come on that are familiar with Demetrius Andrade. And it's funny. That's awesome. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, Boo Boo fought in my tournament for years. He was outstanding. You know, we go back 73, 72, Marvin Hagler. Wow. You know, that's how far. Yeah, we've had some outstanding, Vinny Pazienza, Ray Oliveira. Oh, I mean, I hate to say names because I'm going to forget somebody, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
No, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, these boxers, they're temperamental if you don't mention them.
I know.
And they're all bigger than me, so hey.
They love you. They love you. So you remember Scott Sandman Pemilton?
Pardon?
Scott Pemilton.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? right, right.
Give you another story on Scotty.
So
right? He used to come with us with Ray Oliveira to spa.
Well, Ray Oliveira holds the record on ESPN for the most punches thrown in the round.
He got beat. Somebody beat it. But yeah, I was there the night it happened with Jack Padilla. I was managing Ray at the time.
Wow.
But Scotty, he'd go in and he'd spar and he'd have to knock everybody out. So one day he says, Paul, can I go with you? And I says, no. He goes, what do you mean? I want to spar. I said, they don't want you. You knock everybody out. He didn't know how to spar. He just knew how to fight. And and Scott was a natural hitter. I mean, he could hit.
And I think that's what made him great, because he knew how to punch.
Oh, it's in the blood. Him, his brother, his uncle, they all could fight.
Yeah. So you must have some amazing stories, memories. Now, you said your dad, you took over for your dad. Is that correct?
Yes. He passed away in 1980.
Okay.
And I had been running it for a couple of years because he just couldn't, he had heart problems. He passed away at a young age. So I've been, at least I'd say 80, I took over officially. Wow. Which is about 40 some years. But I started with my dad in 1963. Wow. He got the New Bedford Standard Times had the Golden Glove franchise because only newspapers had the Golden Glove franchises in the country. But the Standard Times amateur boxing was down, attendance was down, and they still had to put up the nut to carry people to the different shows. So they gave it up. And my dad decided, I'm going to try it. And he spent a lot of years rebuilding amateur boxing. I mean, he killed himself. He'd go out, because he had a lot of connections. Mm-hmm. And he'd bring in fighters from Connecticut and New York just to keep it alive. He just, because he was an amateur boxer and a pro boxer. And he just absolutely loved amateur boxing.
So your dad was an amateur and a pro boxer?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and that he started off doing small, what they call smokers, small shows for all these charity, the Elks, the Franco-Americans, and that's what he would do. He would help them out to raise money. And when the gloves opened, they got the opportunity, he grabbed it.
So I want to ask you a question since you brought it up. Smokers. That is something that's not sanctioned by the USA Boxing, right? Is that true?
Correct.
So I heard, and I may be wrong, and you would know more, and I want you to educate me. Smokers, the name of smokers came because these guys would get in a room and they would box, and everybody would be smoking cigarettes, and the room would be full of smoke. Is that something? Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, absolutely. Cigars. Cigars. Oh, boy.
Well, I'm a cigar guy.
That would be it. They would fill the room up with that. But
and that's where the name smoker, the smoker.
Exactly. Right.
Wow. It's great to have you. I want to get right to it, and we can discuss other things after. Let's get to the event happening on November 19th this year at the legendary PAL, historic PAL. We got the West Point Cadets coming to take on some of the Golden Glove fighters on November. Let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about the West Point Cadets. I know, and let me get my paperwork in order here because I'm a little bit off. So talk a little bit about the West Point Cadets and Jerry Hart.
Okay, let's start with Jerry. First of all, Jerry boxed for Libby Medeiros, and he boxed in the Southern New England Golden Gloves, which he had a twin brother also. They both boxed. So they both won the Southern New Englands, and then they moved on to the New Englands. And the first year out, Chris won the New Englands, went to the finals. That was Jerry's twin brother, and Jerry got beat. That year, Chris was accepted at West Point, and Jerry was not because of something to do with one of his eyes. They didn't feel he was qualified. So they kept him in the amateurs another year. He won the Southerns. He went on. He won the New Englands. He went to the Nationals. And the West Point people felt that because of what he had done, boxing at that level, they accepted him into West Point. And that's how he got into West Point, was because of how he was so good at amateur boxing. He then went to West Point, put in 20 years, became a lieutenant colonel, and he is now an assistant professor of physical education and the boxing coach.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like I noticed, they never boxed regular amateur boxing. You know, they have their own rules and regulations. They cannot fight with an open fighter because they're too good. You know, these kids are good, but they're not at that upper level. And so I noticed that Jerry, when he took over, was allowing his boxers to box novice fighters in Springfield in their tournament. And I knew Jerry. I called him up, and we talked old times over and everything. And of course, behind this thing, I had this in my mind: would I love to have the team down? So I, Jerry, what do you think? You know, he says, "Gee, Paul, I'd love to do it. We'll see." And for like 8 months, we've been going back and forth trying to find a date. Because originally I wanted, if I could have, the 12th, because I want to tie it in with the veterans. But he has a big show he's doing, I think, in Meriden, Connecticut on the 12th, I believe, something like that. Okay. And they had something planned at West Point on the 18th. And Jerry canceled it so that we could have his team come down and fight in Fall River, because he wanted to pay Libby Medeiros back for all the work in the PAL, for all the years he used their gym, you know, and for helping me out, because we helped him in his day when he was looking to, you know, I went with him when he went to New York. We took him up to Lake Placid. He trained at fought up there, you know, and that's the way we were back then. You know, we were younger. I used to go every year to Lake Placid, to the Olympic training camp with the team and the boys. And, you know, it really was very close back then. And
so, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm all done.
So let's talk about how you got them to come here. So they're out of New York, correct?
Yes.
They're out of New York. So you spoke with Jerry and Libby Medeiros. Let's not forget Libby Medeiros, people. Libby Medeiros is a legendary trainer here in the city of Fall River, out of the PAL, that's done a lot of tremendous work with a lot of the youth in Fall River, working with a lot of great fighters in here. In the city and abroad the city. Libby's just, he's an icon when it comes to boxing in Fall River in the PAL. So Jerry did it as a favor to Libby to bring the West Point cadets down to fight some of the Golden Glove fighters here in Massachusetts, correct?
Actually, Southern New England, which, because that encompasses Rhode Island.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I've got the state of Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, the Cape and the Islands. That's the territory of the Southern New England. And that's
a big area.
Well, I would like to see more area.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Because I need to draw more boxes. But the thing is with that is that I wanted to make this boxing match, or this box off as we're calling it, strictly for my Southern New England coaches and boxers to get the experience to someday say, hey, I boxed that guy. He's a general today. You know, it could happen. I mean, these are where our leaders are coming from, you know, and it's an opportunity. I mean, sure, we have a lot of simple, you know, like you say, small time shows here and there, but this is something special. And I want to keep it in my territory. I'm kind of, I just, these are my boys and my girls too, because we have women fighting.
Absolutely.
And as far, you know, to me, that's my family out there. I take these kids, I know them for 20, 30, 40 years. I see them, they come up to me. In fact, I had a guy come up to me in Newport, Rhode Island last year. He goes, "You're Paul Morissette?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "You laced my gloves in 1962.
Wow.
His name was Rudy Baguetta, and he was in charge of Newport, the whole education system. He went on from amateur boxing. He went on and got his bachelor's and his master's degree, and he's done very, very well for himself in Newport. And he remembered from 1962. You know, that knows they don't forget, I guess.
No, and when you have that impact in a young person's life, they're never going to forget. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
to me, the joy I get is when I talk to one of my ex-boxers and they tell me how well they're doing. You know, they went on, they got their degree in something, or they're working very well. Because a lot of the kids years ago, they were trouble kids.
Yeah.
The kids today are not as bad. These kids, you can't be a punk and be a boxer. You've got to train. You've got to work. You've got to have discipline. You got to know when someone says jump, you jump. You know, the referee says break, you break.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain special person. And today the kids are all on the computers.
It's a different generation.
Well, and exactly. And like years ago, you didn't have kickboxing, you didn't have MMA. So, and then the money, that's why a lot of these kids went into it to be professional boxers and make some money.
No, absolutely. That's a great story to say. 1962. Wow, that's amazing.
Unbelievable.
You could just imagine and sit back and think and say, wow, the lives I've touched. And like Ronnie Como was my trainer out of the CYO. And I grew up in the project, single mom, a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters. Boxing has changed. I think boxing has changed. And boxing is the only sport where you can, and Mike Tyson says it best, boxing is the only sport where you can come right off the street and become a world champion.
Yeah.
It's changed lives for so many people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this before we go any further, because now you got me on something, Paul. You're getting me going. You get the brain going. Here we go. Big question. What do you think of boxing, USA style, Olympic style boxing in high school as a sport?
I think it'd be great. I really do. In fact, I'm going to throw a number at you. Okay. John Hopkins did a study on sports. And amateur boxing, no, not professional, amateur boxing. I'm embarrassed to say this. We ranked with badminton and volleyball. All right. The number one injuries was soccer head injuries. Number one overall. Amateur boxing, you're wearing a headgear. We've got gloves now that have been proven that they take half of the blow away. You got a mouthpiece, you got a cup, you're in shape. The worst, I say, if you're in boxing, you're giving up your nose.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's about the only thing I see get hurt.
And the concussion protocol and all the stuff that's going to go through. I think football, hockey, volleyball, soccer has more injuries than boxing. I would love to see Durfee High School have a boxing team now, and New Bedford in time. That's considered the big three. But I don't think you start doing contact boxing until you're a junior. Let's do the freshmen and sophomores, learning the skill, learning the defense, learning to throw punches, learning the sport. When you become a junior, then you start sparring. That's for a whole other show for us to do, Paul. Is high school boxing, how it would be run. It's a whole other day. So look, let's get back. West Point Cadets versus Golden Glove, Southern New England, November 19th. Tickets are available, $30 a ticket.
Yes.
$30 a ticket.
Kids under 12 free if they come with an adult.
Under 12 if they come with an adult free.
Right. We're keeping this. We've had a couple of sponsors step forward, and then because of that, we were able to keep the ticket prices as low as we have, and we're allowing the kids in. And thanks to a couple of sponsors that we have. And again, keeping it small show. We can do things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that. I like that small show that everybody's close, and you don't have to have this huge show to be successful. I like the small show, the local show. And look, let's not forget, where let me ask you this. West Point Cadets are coming from New York, correct?
Yes,
so they're bringing fans, they're bringing family, they're bringing all those people into this great city of Fall River, Massachusetts, and they're going to want to frequent some of the restaurants and some of the things in the area.
Oh, yes. In fact, I've been talking to Jerry about that, trying to set something up.
Absolutely. Let's not forget our local businesses are going to feel an impact. You got fighters from 115 pounds to 200 pounds. You got 15 fights going on. You got gyms. I love that you got the Love is Boxing. You got Punishment Striking System, Fall River PAL, On Point, which Jesse's a great guy. You got Chilito's Way from Striking Beauties. You got boys, girls. You got a mix. This is going to be a great event. It's going to be a great amateur boxing event. I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
How do you do it, man? Like, how do you do it?
I don't know. I've been doing it so long that it just comes natural. I know I need to I needed this. I need that. I got a list of them. And the other little plus we got going is the cadets of the 2022 National Amateur Collegiate Boxing Team Championship.
Wow, 2022.
That picture you showed up earlier of all of them with their belts, that was taken when they won the Nationals. So not only are we getting a good college team, we're getting the champions, the best. Now, absolutely. I don't know how many of them graduated since then, but whatever.
But more likely, more than few. But so these fighters that we're having coming to take on the West Point cadets, you better be ready. You better be in shape. These are the 2022?
Anywhere from 18, maybe they're freshmen, sophomore, seniors. That's, so they could be anywhere from 18 to 22, probably. Yeah. And they're in shape, like you said.
The 2022 champions?
They won, yes. The team won the men won the gold and the women won the bronze.
So these fights you're going to see, these gyms, Punishment Striking System, KO Boxing, Wishes Gym, Forever PAL, Team Serious, On the Ropes, Love is Boxing. These guys better come, and these women better come prepared because you're taking on champions.
Absolutely. In fact, I've been talking to quite a few of them, and they're very excited. And they're working real hard because they don't want to embarrass themselves.
Absolutely.
And they're really, some of the ones that I have, they went out of their way. They want to be on this card, In fact, I've probably got about another 7 or 8 alternates that I couldn't use, that are looking to get on the card. They wanted to try this. We have to go with the collegiate rules. And basically it's 2-minute rounds with 12-ounce gloves.
Right.
Other than that, protect yourself at all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't know how good they are because we haven't seen any of them,
Yeah.
Usually you get a chance to, at least see a little something, and holy mackerel.
So let's if you want to be a sponsor, you have sponsorships available still. If you want to be a sponsor, give the information out because we're going to be ending soon. Give the information because you got a light you can put on, Paul.
Yeah,
go ahead, put a light on. That's all right.
I'm so dark over here.
Yeah, put a light on. It's all right. Take your time.
Don't
worry about it. Boxing fans love it. Don't you worry about it. There you go. Look at that.
Getting a different room.
Handsome guy. Look at this handsome guy.
There you go.
There you go.
People look for me at the fights and they go, "Oh, he's the old white-haired guy in the corner."
So let's talk about if you wanted to sponsor and you wanted to get involved, because we're going to share this video. I want you to share the video. I'm going to share the video also. If you wanted to be a sponsor, how do you get a sponsorship and what does the sponsorship include?
Okay, first of all, the number on the poster, my number, they can call that. The sponsorship is $250. You sponsor a bout. Okay, what you get 2 ringside seats, complimentary as part of your package. You get that bout named after you. You get in the ring after the bout's over, and you hand out the representative of your company or yourself, whoever. Get in the ring, hand out the prizes, get your picture taken by Mr. Jerry Souza, and we'll get that picture over to you. And of course, during the course of the evening, we'll mention your company. And all of that for $250.
That's pretty good. That's not bad at all.
Well, we're looking for 15 sponsors. 15 bouts, 15 sponsors. That's it. At that point, we stop. We're happy. We're satisfied. Good. We're not. Nobody. That's one thing we don't. We're not out greedy and trying to grab every buck on the show. No, we don't do that.
I like what you're doing. I like the concept of keeping it simple. And, sometimes you get too big and you lose a little bit of the richness of it and the authenticity of it. I like it. I like that it's simple. I like the old school vibe. I like that. I really do. You got 15 bouts from 115 pounds over to 200 pounds. It looks like you got a lot of good gyms coming. I mean, I'm looking at the list here, and Punishment Striking System has been great with their fighters. Great program over there. Shelly Shalito's Way. What can we say about her? She's going to be on that show.
Yeah, what the hell is it? The Champions to win $1 million or something.
Yeah, so she's a phenomenal trainer, phenomenal boxer, champion herself. That's going to be in house. So if you see her, she may be busy. But if I know Shelly personally, she's a great person. She would take the time to take a picture, sign an autograph. Shelly's great people. You got Punishment Striking System, Love is Boxing, former PAL, Libby Medeiros, legend in the area of boxing. This is an event you're not going to want to miss. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be local. It's going to be comfortable. We're not blowing it up to be this big, giant thing. Man, this is unbelievable. You've been doing this for over 30 years. Do you ever get tired? Do you ever say, like, I don't want to do this no more?
A couple of years back, I went through a period like that. And but it went away. it came back. It's like my body like automatically comes around Thanksgiving. It jumps into some kind of a gear, and I'm like, I got to do stuff. I got to be on a phone. I got to be hustling. I got to make fights. I got to call this guy, that guy.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work, Paul. And I want the people to understand the work that you put in, the time, the effort, the energy, the sacrifices that you do in order to put on the Golden Gloves. Not only the Golden Gloves, but a show like this.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I've done in the past. I used to do maybe like 10 shows a year, but now that I'm older, I've cut back to only doing the gloves. That's all I've been wanting to do. But this show came up. I had to take it, Yeah. It's like this fighter, he's retired, but then they throw a big pay at him and they go, hey, he's got one more fight left in him.
No, absolutely.
That was me with this one. I mean, I'm hoping Jerry Hart, he's talking about bringing maybe his father and mother down.
Wow.
They're from around the Boston area.
Yeah.
And I go back with his father too. It was a long time ago. So it would be nice to see them come back at the Fall River PAL. It really, really, really would. And it's going to be a homecoming. They don't come to little venues like this. They do big time stuff. But Jerry wants to give back to Fall River and the Fall River PAL.
I want to thank Jerry Hart personally. Thank you so much, because I love my great city of Fall River, Massachusetts, and I always say this: if you get a chance to come to Fall River and explore Fall River, you will see its greatness, but you got to get out and explore it. So from my heart and from FFN Radio and a Neutral Corner, Jerry Hart, thank you so much for giving this opportunity to our great city and the historic PAL and Paul Morissette. I can tell you this: you are in good hands. He's going to make sure things are run perfectly. And FFN Radio Network is there for anything you need. Anything.
Great. I'm so very, very happy about this relationship we're putting together, this partnership. It's a part that I'm not very good at, is promoting. I'm a businessman. I'm a manager. I run great shows, but I'm not a good promoter. I can't lie.
This is the new world, the internet. Something that Paul's just getting into, and he's going to do just fine. He's going to adjust just fine. So once again, if somebody wanted to sponsor, if somebody wanted to get involved, Paul, and I know we just spoke about this, but I want you to explain again what the process is, your email, give your email out, any phone numbers. If somebody wanted to sponsor and get involved, how would they do that? Okay.
Email is pmorissette42@outlook.com or 508-491-6151. You'll get me. You end up talking to me, I may never shut up. Make sure you allow a little bit of time for me to go through my monologue that I go through. And we'd love to have, like I said, we have some already on. We have a few more left. And I'm hoping to get local companies, local people. That's, the whole bit is Southern New England and pride in Fall River. which, we've lost, and we got to get it back. I mean, I don't want to see like the Golden Gloves, my Southern New England. They may leave after I'm gone. It may be taken over by someone out of town, and I don't want it to leave this area. It's been here for so long. It's part of it. It was at Lincoln Park for a number of years, and it belongs here. So you never know. We can't keep it up. Somebody else might want to move in and take it to. I know a lot of people want to take it to Rhode Island. I've had people say that to me. They want to go, and I don't want to take it. They say, "Well, Paul, you can get a better place. You can get more people." That ain't my bottom line. My bottom line is to make sure I put on an honest, safe, and that is important to me. Safety of my boxers is important on all levels. That's the biggest thing. I tell every trainer, if your kid's in trouble, throw in the towel right away. Don't even hesitate. Kid's in trouble, stop it. We're not here for $1 million fights. The safety of these young men and women are paramount.
Are you hearing this? These young trainers today? Are you hearing this? Are you actually hearing the legend himself that's been around the sport for over 30, 40, 50 years? Are you hearing him? He wants to keep the PAL in Fall River. He wants to keep the Golden Gloves in the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts. He's talking about safety. He's not talking about winning world champions and making millions of dollars. He's talking about the safety of your fighter. Are you hearing Fall River? Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this legend speak? Because it's important, and I hope you're listening, because boxing to me is in my heart. It's in my blood. It goes back to the 40s. My Pepe, my grandfather, my uncle fought in the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts. One of my uncles fought in New York City and was presented an award by Babe Ruth. I got the proof. Are you hearing the legend speak tonight? Are you hearing him talking about safety? Are you hearing him talking about keeping the Golden Gloves in the city of Fall River, Massachusetts? Are you listening? How can we keep this part of our history? PAL, the building, is historic. It's legendary here in the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts. I can go on and on. Paul Morissette has some tremendous history and stories he can speak about. This man's putting in sacrifice, energy, all the time he has goes to this. If you're willing to sponsor, if you want to get involved, now's the time. Now's the time to get involved, because I'm going to tell you this right now. I will not sit here and let this Southern New England Golden Gloves go to Rhode Island. It won't happen. And I'm going to say this in front of my good friend and legend, Paul Morissette. It's not going to happen. It's staying right here. And
we need young blood. I need young guys like you to help and push this and get it the way it belongs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got tremendous people here in the great city of Fall River. Great boxing trainers. Step up. Let's do this. We can work together. Paul can't do this alone. You say you love the sport of boxing? You say you love Fall River? Step up. Step up. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Put up or shut up. That's what we talk about in boxing. It's a community event. We're bringing people here into this great city of Fall River, Massachusetts that I was born and raised in. I hope you're listening, because this video is going to be shared. You hear the passion. You hear the love. This gentleman's put in over 30 years. His father's put in longer. This is staying here. Paul, thank you so much for being on. I can't wait to be at this show. We're going to share this video. We're going to continue to share the pamphlet you're going to get. West Point Cadets, Golden Glove Boxing, right here in the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts, November 19th, at the legendary, historic PAL. This is an event you're not going to want to miss. We talk about fundraising for this organization and that organization. Let's not forget the PAL and all it's done for this community and all it's been through. We talk about it. Now it's time to step up and be about it. Thank you so much, Mr. Morissette.
Jerry, Paul, please.
I'm sorry. I
gotta tell you how wonderful it is to know you. You're bringing so much enthusiasm to this that it's catching up on me now. I'm starting to get even a little more excited. Jesus, it's catchy. But I know everybody. I wish the show was next week. I really do. I can't.
Don't worry about it. November 19th, the show. We're gonna have you on again before the show. We're gonna have you on multiple times before the show. We're gonna make this great. If you want to sponsor, you get in touch with me, Paul Morissette. Share the video. You can share this video. It's gonna be public. You can share it any platform you want. I'm gonna share it in a lot of boxing platforms. My host, Daryl Too Sweet Coley, W champion of the world, Fort Oscar De La Hoya and others. We're going to be sharing it. The PAL, the Golden Gloves, is not leaving the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts. Boxing is rich in history here. Boxing is rich in history here, right here in Fall River, Massachusetts. It's not going to happen. I will not let it happen. We got a lot of great events going on, a lot of great people. I can name a few. I think what Mike Herron and Aaron Bonato and Striking Systems, Love is Boxing, Stay Ready Boxing, PAL. We have enough gyms here in the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts, that Paul should not have to worry about losing the Golden Gloves to Rhode Island. It's ours. We own it. And it's our time to step up and help this man make sure it stays here. Let's do it, Fall River. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of changes, a lot of difficulties, and this is where Fall River pulls through, is right here. Paul, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I know I get excited, and I apologize.
I enjoy it. Please, I enjoy it. I love being around fight people,
And that's what we are in Fall River. People.
Don't forget, I was born and raised in a gym, I think.
There you go, baby.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
So listen, if you want to get involved, remember the event is West Point Cadets versus the Golden Glove Boxers here in the city of Fall River, November 19th. Tickets are $30. If you're accompanied with adult, under 12 is free. If you want to sponsor, you want to get involved, Paul's the guy to see. If you can't get in touch with Paul, reach out to me and I'll lead you in the right direction. Again, Paul, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on. And thank you so much. I don't want to forget this. Thank you so much for all you do for the boxing community. Thank you for all you do for the Golden Gloves. Thank you to your family and you for everything. Again, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Have a great night. We'll see you.
Is there any way you can lose? Yeah, if I don't show up. And that's the only way I can lose. And believe me, I will be there.
This is Daryl Too Sweet Coley, 38-2, 28 knockouts, former #1 welterweight in the world, on the neutral corner with Jerry Sosa.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
You won't do shit.